of all, a huge round of applause to Ajeya. It's supposed to make us look good, right? And I really mean it when I wanted to get my mother-in-law here. Well, I did it seriously. All right. First of all, anybody have a guest out here today? Awesome, awesome. Are they still in communication? All right.
Gotta fire up.
Good guys. Again, we are Ajeya Madhu, proudly sponsored in this business by Venkat and Savi from Sydney. By profession, I'm a project manager working in one of the leading banks in Australia with quite a few traditional businesses. And Madhu is a published author and process specialist. Now, today, without taking a lot of your time, we're just going to discuss about a few things that we actually do to launch people's business. When I say launch, we are very careful about having new partnerships on board. And there is a process that we actually implicate, or steps that you want to actually say, that we actually take down so that when we're setting up people, we're setting up for success. Now, traditionally, we just launch the people with $80 or $90. That just gives you a license, right? It doesn't mean anything. So if you notice my presentation, you're actually on a small business one quadrant by doing that. What is it that you actually bring in a value is, as a mentor, you're helping extend those partnerships so that there is a network of those small business owners, right? So I'm just going to take you through a bit of a, do I have to click up? All right. So we are very careful about what we use as words to people that we work with in terms of launching their businesses, and we use something called as a supplier registration. And what do we do as part of the supplier registration? It's not a rocket science. We basically launch their business, which means that the license, okay, what we refer to as a $90 launch is called a license. So you get a license to be able to trade into those 586 products that are actually available from Amway as a supplier. That's what you actually get. Now, I just want to also give you an understanding of when we launch the supplier, we give people an understanding of what are the apps that are available. And that's Amway Central. We talk to them about what Amway Central does and we walk them through each one of these particular apps. That is the list of apps. Zoom for connectivity. Sometimes we do a video conferencing, people who are interstate or people who are within the state as well. We just want to optimize on time because people come from various faraway places. You don't want to waste 40 minutes traveling back and forth. Instead, you can actually utilize that time in building your business. So Zoom is one of the great tools that you can actually use. And Team and Global App, this is where we spend most time on. We give an emphasis on what the Team and Global App is all about. And we give them an understanding of why there is a value for Team and Global App. Of course, Team and Global App is a necessity when you're launching people's business. Why do I say this? Because if you're not launched correctly, that means you're setting someone up for failure. Understand this, people, right? We've always taken these partnerships very seriously, and when we set up somebody as a partner, we make sure that they're set up for success. Now, whether they are successful or not is at least in their hands. Of course, we take that as a responsibility to be able to take them into the areas of being successful, but that particular app is very important. We also talk to them about the Team and Global events. Now, events are very critical because we talk to them about what are the major events that are actually upcoming. BBS. We talk to them about FEC. We give them an understanding of why an FEC would be a valuable source of information, not just for you being there, but if you were to attend FEC by yourself, it's an investment in you. But if you were to attend with a bunch of people who are equally fired up after the presentation or the conference, it's a return on your investment. Understand this. right? It's important that you actually, if you give them the value, is it better for people to actually work hard before and smart, so that you are actually making the most out of these presentations and the seminars and the sessions? The answer to that would be yes. Okay, we have, and we have, me and Madhumita have done that mistake several times. We've actually been in a position where we get excited after the FEC or after the winter conference, and then by the time the next winter conference comes, we are there is an excitement dip. Okay, and it's better to actually work harder first, so that you're actually excited at the same time as a bunch of other new partners are. Okay, understand that. And Team and Global, contacts kit. Now with the contacts kit, it's, I'm sure every person uses a different one, but the contacts kit is nothing but you are in a position to extract all the contacts that are actually in your phone, which will allow you to build your list. Okay, now just have a look at the mentorship, and we focus a lot about mentorship and the Team and Grow app that we actually mentioned about. We run them through the app and talk to them about the various categories that are there, like the attitude, mechanics, success stories. Now, we don't let people go blind. What I mean by that is that we give them a list of audios to listen to. And we're going to feed that into a 30-day code run, which I'm going to talk to you about. What does that mean? Because there are like 250 plus audios. What do you want them to listen? If you leave a new business partner, he could listen to anything, right? Of course, it is all accessible, but what do you want to actually listen to? And that's a list of audios that we actually provide them to make that successful. A tour of a website, very critical. So when we focus our talk, or when we focus to actually take a person through the Amway website, which is a supplier, and we focus very much on it being a supplier, because understand this, I can take them to, and I can actually tell them, hey, you know, there's a home care product, this is what it costs, this is what it is, and I can take them to details of all the 586 products. Is this a prudent use of your time? It's a question that you need to ask yourself. It is something that a new business partner can explore. I tell them about, hey, you've got various products, these are the ranges of the products. I talk to them about the price objections that anybody might have in terms of why that could be expensive, because it's a concentrate. And then I take them to the business dashboard and give them an understanding of how they can track the business dashboard. That means how they can see the success for each one of those, the activities that they're doing, or the new business partners that they would potentially would be launching or in the process. Switching shopping habits, one of the very critical ones, right? And we talked about it in a very small business, very fundamental unit of this particular, the previous presentation that we were doing is about switching shopping habits. Now, we do explain Chart Your Course. Chart Your Course is designed to actually give you an upfront leverage. For those of you who don't know, it is important that we actually sit with the people who have, whom you're partnered with, to understand what Chart Your Course is. It gives you an instant gain. We focus on a little bit on this because let's understand this. Now, if you were to focus on retail, you would rather focus on something that is going to be ongoing. Now, please check with your upline. This is what we follow. It is not necessary that you have to actually do that, but it is in consultation with all our uplines, and this is what we actually follow. Let's say, for instance, you've got a car insurance. Your car insurance is all the supplier partner stores. Real insurance, we'd rather have somebody switch to the real insurance or Click Energy, because that's going to be an ongoing PV until such time that they continue to use. Are you with me so far? All right, great. Now, we do give them an understanding of who are our partner stores and how to switch. Technical glitch. So while the presentation is coming up, the next aspects that we wanted to talk to you about is in terms of how to give an understanding of what is available as a next step, and what is it that you want to lock in the calendars. All right. Now, if there is a single female that we're launching, we actually book an appointment for Sam. If there is a person who is savvy, male, we still book a Sam. Okay. So what we do is we log that time in their calendars so that they can send out an invite to us in our calendars, so it is committed. And we know that it is already committed, and we have an understanding of what our schedule looks like in the subsequent week or the next week. 30-day core run. Now, a large portion of you who are following the process may or may not be doing a 30-day core run. What we follow as part of Harshal and Vedi and the rest of the group is they've got something called as a 30-day core run. Now, nothing rocket sciencey. It's basically 30 days are to actually set someone inculcate new habits, let's put it that way, right? And those 30-day core runs, we do 2 separate trainings. One training is to actually give an understanding of what the list building looks like, and the second training is to actually give them an understanding of what DTM is, traditionally known as invitation, right? We do DTM because that's what we are following at the moment, but invitation for anyone else who is actually following the erstwhile process. And the Business Center walkthrough, this is an optional, but however, we actually encourage that we actually take any new business partner on through this particular journey. And it's basically just taking them through what the Business Center looks like, where it is, where they could go to actually shop if they wanted to touch and feel some of the products. Now, this is very important, game planning. A large portion of us actually miss out on the aspect around why game planning is needed, but we commit to the next 12 months in their calendars and ours for a half an hour to 45-minute game planning sessions for every single business partner that we've launched. Without a game planning, there is nothing to look forward to. Okay, and not just a new business partner, but even we would not know where they're heading. It's important that we actually have those game planning sessions, and they're committed into our calendars. Not just me and Madhu, but any new business partner that we launch. And of course, there are clients. Now, calendar. When we launch somebody, we also launch them with a BBS ticket. If the BBS is within the time frame, we also launch them with something called as an FEC. Right? Why this? Are you concerned about launching somebody with 100 PVs and dropping off, or are you concerned about giving them that mindset that they can actually shop from their own store for the rest of their lives, right? And such enlightenment happens when you're actually in larger conferences, right? It is important that somebody who has got price objections or objections, again, please check with your appliance. This is what we follow. It is not necessary that it will actually suit every single person that you're actually on board. It is about trying to understand, is FEC an important activity or the conference that you need to attend to? Answer is yes, right? Again, in terms of F&H, now this is what we ask. Friday night hangouts happen every Friday. So this is what we communicate to any business, new business partner. My question back to them is, how many Fridays are you in a position to commit? Right? Most people come back and say, you know what, I might actually be in a position to commit to all 4. Some people say, just a fortnight, maybe just 1. I said, great, put that on your calendar. And I get them to commit it for the next 12 months. What that means is that they have a reminder set in their calendar to give them an understanding of today there is an event. Now, they might choose to not come, but that is a different aspect around it, right? That's when we actually address the question around accountability. Chart your course. It is very critical that a lot of previous launches that we've actually done, we've actually missed out on people's chart your course. And we feel bad about it because the aspect is that we feel responsible for having them missed out on certain options that are available. So we actually commit to them to make a first order by a certain date, and that is the drop dead date. Usually it is after the 30-day code run or within the 30-day code run. I'm going to let Madhu talk about some of the WhatsApp groups and how we actually create a value and a code for it.
Thanks, Ajeya. So once we've launched any of our new business partners, this is one of the key steps that we do. I'm just going to take Sanket's example. Let's say, Sanket, we've launched you and Radhika in our business. We would create an exclusive group on WhatsApp called Team Sanket and Radhika, where we would add both of you, we would add ourselves, and if you've got any direct upline between us, we would add that person as well. Idea is to create that group as a locker room session between yourselves and us, where we can discuss every bit and piece of the business starting from day one. So if you've got any questions, you can ask us, you can freely ask us uninhibited around the process, around how do I access that, which audio should I be listening to, I'm not able, when is the Friday night hangout, I'm not able to, any questions. So my bottom line is any question, any action that you want to take, anything that is pertaining to your business, you can feel free to ask us that in that group. The idea is we want to create the space for you where you feel comfortable, where you don't get overwhelmed by other people's presence. And we are also very careful that at this stage we do not expose you to a wider group because you've just launched yourself in the business. We want you to develop that mindset before you can interact at a higher platform. Because at a higher platform, in a wider WhatsApp group, people may be talking about certain things which you don't have an idea about. And you may be wondering, oh my God, do I need to do that? Yes, you are required to do that, but not just yet. So instead of creating so many confusion and instead of allowing your doubts to build up within you, we create that exclusive group between us and you can share. And that's where the factor around allowing your mentors to build that trust comes into picture. We give you that space, but as a new business partner, it is your responsibility to trust us and to share with us every aspect of your business. Let's say you've got some question around charge your course, and for some reason you're not able to place an order, but you're hesitant to ask us for help. You're hesitant to let us know that you may not be able to place an order or any query. If you don't do that, we wouldn't know, right? And if you don't know, we're not able to help you to get out of that situation. So the idea is it's a two-way communication. You share your concerns, your queries with us, and we help you come up with a solution. We also use these groups as a training session group. Understand this, people, all of us do not have time to meet with each other all the time, every day. So let's say Sanket and Radhika live in a different part of Melbourne, and we live in a different part of Melbourne. It is very impractical to catch up every day in person and talk business. But does that mean that we shouldn't be interacting with each other? Definitely not. Like Hemant and Smita mentioned in Winter Conference as well, you've got access to your mentors 365 days. Utilize that. How do you utilize that? Should Sanket be interacting with Ajeya separately, me separately? Should Radhika be doing separately? That builds a lot of confusion. So the idea is put them all in one room, bring out your thoughts together, interact with us, and use that platform to build yourself, right? And develop your business. That's one group. Another group, like Ajeya has already touched upon briefly, is called 30-Day Code Run. Now, that group is, we add you onto that group. There is no, it's not mandatory from mindset perspective, but we expect you to participate in that group because all the accountability and the excitement that you've shown to us before we've launched you, whilst you were still a candidate, this is an opportunity for you to actually prove that you're actually serious about this opportunity, that you're accountable to your words, that you are willing to be coached, that you are willing to develop a mindset. It's an opportunity for us to see how accountable you are, how committed you are. Once you've shown that to us, we will invest our time, our mindset, our effort in building you and your business. If you fail to do that, nothing's going to happen. Sky is not going to fall, earth's not going to shatter. It's only going to impact your business. The reason, if you are not doing that, then ask yourself, why did you launch your business? Why you're doing what you're doing? Again, going back to your why. So there are certain guidelines that we have for 30-day co-run group, which we share with our business partner once we add them to the group. And we don't make a big deal about it. It's just one of the habits that we need to develop as part of this business. Again, it's not mandatory. It depends on how serious you take up this opportunity. We are not your bosses. If you don't post, if you don't listen to audios, if you don't read a book, we are not gonna take anything away from you. Please remember, you are taking that time away from your own business. So it's you and your growth that's in your hand. We as a mentors can only coach you if you're willing to be coached. Yeah, I just spoke about 30-day program. Team ABC locker room. So example of Sanjay and Radhika. Rockstar. So we are all part of Rockstar United group. And like I said, when we launch a new business partner, we used to in the past, we've done that in the past. We've added business partners to the Rockstar group only to realize that they get overwhelmed because they see each one of us posting messages. Some of it is related to books, audios, some of it is about the activities that we've done towards a business. So it's very overwhelming for a new business partner because they've just taken a baby step. They've just had the courage to move from E quadrant to B quadrant. So we need to understand their mindset. We need to understand that we were in that position a few months or a few years ago. So let's be a little empathetic, and this is also to, if I may use Hemant's language, this is also to immunize our business partners. They've just taken a step into the business world. We need to provide them with all the right tools before we bring them out in a wider community. And Rockstar group has got a lot of people. And so once they complete the 30-day run, they qualify. Qualification does not stop once they've launched the business. While we were taking them through the process, we were qualifying them. They still are in the qualification process for every step or every activity that they do. And every step has got a meaning, has got a relevance in the business. So yeah, once they qualify successfully, we add them to the wider group and get them to learn and understand from each other. So these are some of the key aspects that we follow, Ajay and I follow while launching a new business partner. Like Ajay has mentioned, if it is not something that you are doing, don't get overwhelmed. Check with your appliance. There is no right or wrong. This is what we think has been working well for us, and we have, through our experiences, through all the past launches that we figured out, where we felt this is a right approach for us. It's working well for us. It's allowing us to duplicate that mindset to our new business partners. So before you make any changes, please get in touch with your upline, seek their advice, and then take any step if needed. So that's about it.
Just a couple more points to actually understand this, right? Why is this a qualification process? When you're actually part of the WhatsApp group, you're actually learning the language, you're learning the way that you interact. You don't want somebody to actually walk into a wider community of a WhatsApp group because you're building a brand. You want to understand that, and we take that seriously, as I mentioned to you previously. So unless somebody qualifies through that particular WhatsApp group, they're not going to be added into a wider WhatsApp group. Now, having said that, this is what we follow. Anup and Aarti really do this well, because when they actually do a DTM with any single candidate or if any of their downlines in this case do a DTM, they screenshot that particular message. That way Anup and Aarti have got time to be able to establish what they want to do before they can send out a reply back. So we encourage people to actually have something on the SMSs instead of actually picking up the call and talking, because they can't think on their feet. It's difficult, and it's difficult for anyone. Now, a couple of things I just wanted to add. Of course, apart from this training is in terms of launching new business partners, we've had a really successful candidate come through. His name is Bol, and I just wanted to get him to come here and share his testimony in terms of how that has happened. And over the period of last 2.5 months, he has not just qualified himself for the 30-day core run and to be part of the Rockstar community, but he's actually in the process of the last 6 weeks qualified 6 new business partners, and they've all launched their businesses with 3 more in pipeline, and that's the impact he has created. And of course, a lot of their clients have been actually working hand in hand to do that particular piece. So, Bo, can I just ask you to come up here for a quick minute? Bo's a student, he's studying law, and at the same time, I'll let you introduce you actually. So, I just wanted to give you an understanding that it's just been about 2.5 months since he's actually launched his business, and he's gone through the strict qualification process for the first initial 4 to 6 weeks, but at the same time, he's actually gone through a 30-day core run, followed by a month where he is actually now a rising star. I have a question for you in terms of the mindset. How have you seen the shift between the mindset with the new candidates that have been qualified? In terms of when we started off with the process to the time that they actually came for the business launch. Would you be able to share some?
Yeah, I think just before I answer you, Ajeya, I'll just introduce myself, like you said. So like Ajeya said, my name is Gordon Hyun. I'm a law student. I'm studying Bachelor of Law and Arts. Not long ago, I was introduced to these great mentors by my upline, Mangar, and also part of our Lani's team. It's been a great journey. Just to get back to your question, actually, I think the most exciting time is that transition from just being introduced, heading up to the time where you actually launch your business. From my view, watching the rest of the guys that launched their business, it was very exciting. I was excited for them actually because it's a great opportunity. And once you see this opportunity, you want to bring in your close ones. And when you see them going through that stage, makes you very happy. I was more excited for them actually. And so they slowly started getting educated, the whole system, and started seeing what a great opportunity it is. And you can see the mindset changing day by day. Every time they sat down with the mentors, it was more excitement for them every single day. You see, and I remember my time when I launched my business actually. I think it was 2 months ago exactly on a Friday shopping night. That's when I launched my business. It was like the 5th of May or so. That day was an important day for me because it was the day that I started a new chapter in my life. You see, I'll always remember it. And so for these guys here, a few days ago, they all launched their business. We got all together. We're very close family basically, and just laughing away. I guess just launching the business. And I'll use an example of one of the guys in the team. His name is Manum. I didn't make it tonight. Actually, got lost on the way to here. So he went back home. He went right halfway. Now, I've known him for more than 10 years, and he's a guy who doesn't actually like suits. He's not a fan of suits. Suits to Manum are a blazer, a shirt, maybe trousers, and Nike shoes. That's a full set of suits for him, But that day when he came to launch his business, he was suited up, new suits, new tie, shirt, and to our surprise, he was wearing classic shoes. No Nike's dress shoes. They just showed the excitement for him because he's just a guy that started a new chapter in his life. You see? So when he came, I said that I was more like a senior to them because I know what's happening. I know what is going to hit them, So they all launched their businesses, and everybody's excited, and so you can see the day they started, leading up to the day they launched the business now. I got them all just before the winter conference. I just started grabbing them, come, let's go. We mentors, and they all got on board. We got on the bus, had a great trip to Sydney, got blown away by the winter conference, by Alan and Jenny and the rest were there. That was complete turnaround, like a 360 turnaround for all of them when they saw and heard what they heard there, and the great energy, had a huge impact on them. And Again, it comes with that mindset, again, the shift. That shift is the most important thing for every single person to succeed, basically. Once your mind shifts like that, there is no stopping you from succeeding in this business. It's as simple as that. So seeing them go through that was amazing. I think that answers the question.
By the way, you don't get to hold the mic until you're platinum, apparently. Okay? So you've got to hold it, so forget about it. Right. Okay. So guys, that's really what I wanted to say. I mean, somebody who has never worn a suit in the, it's not about wearing a suit, but somebody who has never worn a suit for the last 10 years, walking to their business launch, thinking that it is their business is a great achievement, right? And we think that if that can be inculcated as a quality, it is something that they will take ownership of and they will be successful for themselves. With that, I think me and Madhu are done, and we're back to the host, I guess.
Man, oh man, what a powerful training, am I right?
Yes.
Indian legal level.